Let's unpack this. We are diving into a universe that's defined by just unimaginable power, ancient grudges, destiny. But at its very core, it's really a story about a breakup,
A really, really bad breakup.
an apocalyptic one.
Oh.
I mean, what happens when the world's ultimate protector, the king of gods, falls profoundly and, irrevocably in love with the ultimate creature of chaos and vengeance?
It sounds like, grand mythology, but these source materials we're looking at treat it with this raw personal intensity of like high drama. We have a dense stack of research here, and it all details a realm-shattering conflict.
And it all centers on this one relationship.
Exactly. This tempestuous, incredibly volatile relationship between Samkiel, the God King, and Dianna, who transforms almost overnight into this monstrous entity.
So our mission today is, well, it's pretty laser focused. We need to cut through all the cosmic noise and just extract the truly crucial components of this world's lore.
Right, get to the heart of it.
We need to define the nature of the power they wield, the mechanics of these soul-deep relationships that are, frankly, driving this entire war, and critically, the antagonist's master plan, which is just terrifyingly personal.
It has to be. That's why it's so important to do this work, because this whole conflict is fundamentally rooted in emotional vulnerability. We're not just tracking battles and power levels, we are tracking heartbreak.
Absolutely. And just to give you a sneak peek into the level of visceral drama we're talking about here, we start with a heart-shattering roar that literally shook multiple realms. We see a woman's eyes turn solid crimson as she embraces pure destructive power. And we have the detail of a calculated kiss that's actually designed to deliver a customized sleeping spell.
The tactics are as intimate as the stakes are immense.
Exactly. So let's jump right in by trying to understand the inciting trauma. The moment it all breaks, the narrative kicks off, almost violently, with a tragedy. Diana's transformation wasn't an accident. It wasn't a slow burn. It was instantaneous, explosive.
And it was directly caused by the death of her sister, Gabby.
Yes. This death, which was orchestrated by Caden and the Order, was the catalyst. It's what changed her from this, mortal adjacent protector into a creature of pure chaotic instinct.
And the trauma itself was designed to be world-breaking. The source material really emphasizes that the resulting pain, the anger, it was so immense it manifested as a heart-shattering roar.
And that wasn't just noise, was it? It was an energy release.
Oh, absolutely. It was thought to be heard across the realms. And we learn that this single cry, this one moment of agony, it embeds itself into Samkiel's own psyche. It becomes the dark centerpiece of his nightmares for weeks afterward.
That detail about the nightmares is so fascinating because it immediately links the antagonist's action, Gabby's death, to the protagonist's vulnerability, Samkiel's sleep.
It shows you right away that Diana's pain is physically and psychically powerful enough to breach the defenses of the King of Gods himself.
There's no wall high enough for that.
No. And the physical fallout immediately confirmed the scale of this new, terrifying power. The sources describe a mighty clap of wings, then another, followed by a thunderous ascent.
And flames.
And flames tickling the buildings as she fled the scene. This wasn't a strategic retreat. It was an uncontrolled explosion of grief and power that publicly signaled her transformation and, her disappearance.
It also severed her last moral tie to the world, didn't it? As Drake, a former ally, he later observes, Gabby was a leash that held a rabid beast, and now the tether is gone.
That observation is just brutally cold, but it's perfect. It perfectly encapsulates the shift.
So that phrase, the tether is gone, it really introduces the fundamental mechanics of what she's become. This Ig'Morruthen nature, that's her new operational reality.
It is, and her outward appearance reflects this total shift. Her once kind hazel eyes, they're now described as solid crimson. Her cheekbones are sharper, and she's constantly shielded by this tangible, harmful power. The beast, the Ig'Morruthen, it isn't hiding anymore.
It's in the driver's seat. So let's go a little deeper into the nature of the Ig'Morruthen.
Oh.
Why is this more than just being a very, very angry goddess? It feels like a complete rewrite of her core programming.
It absolutely is. Ig'Morruthens are creatures that are inherently born of chaos, and their biological imperative is consuming power. They are defined entirely by their feeding habits. And the material is very, very clear on this. Their stability is directly tied to managing this consumption. Overindulgence in blood, which she is absolutely doing. Samkiel notes the metallic scent on her. It doesn't just make her stronger.
What does it do?
It leads to massacres, mood swings, and erratic behavior.
So the instability is actually a predictable side effect of her new power source. It's not just random rage.
100% predictable. When she overindulges, anything mortal or kind in her, the part that loved Gabby, the part that loved Samkiel, it's snuffed out like a flame. And this explains why the Dianna we meet immediately after the transformation is so empty, so emotionless, and so dangerously focused. She has become functionally pure vengeance, devoid of all the emotional context that used to guide her decisions.
Which leads directly to her one very clear mission.
Slaughter all those responsible for her death.
And this isn't a short list.
Yeah.
It includes former friends, allies like Camilla and Drake, and the entire Order. She is not vague about her intentions at all.
She is terrifyingly methodical. She recalls a specific victim, Quincy, not with any regret, but she's just sort of musing on his shiny and bouncy curls. It confirms this chilling detachment she has.
She had memorized every face involved.
Yes. This isn't a rampage. It's a targeted, calculated campaign of destruction.
Yeah.
And it's driven by a power source that literally thrives on chaos. You can see Camilla's internal reaction in the source text, and it's key here. She recognizes Dianna sees no degrees of separation.
If you were associated with the Order, you were complicit.
Exactly, and death might even be preferable to facing her wrath.
This shift in power wasn't just internal, though. It shook the foundations of the realms. The energy she released caused an immediate and fundamental shift in power that was felt by every otherworld creature.
It immediately establishes her as a world-class threat. Caden, the antagonist, who knows power better than anyone, he later confirms she is so potent that if she's left unchecked, she could burn stars, conquer worlds.
So the trauma of Gabby's death didn't just create an emotional crisis for Dianna.
No.
It unleashed a cosmological threat that Samkiel now has to manage.
He does. And Samkiel is left dealing with the immediate political fallout. He, Logan, and Vincent are just forced into crisis management, and they have a media storm on their hands, destroyed buildings, public displays of fire, and the sheer visibility of Diana's exit.
It's a huge distraction,
Yeah.
and one that Caden probably intended.
Oh, almost certainly. While the king is distracted by heartbreak and, public relations, the deeper plot can advance. And you see the immediate divergence in Samkiel's inner circle in response to this crisis. Logan, the brother figure, he wants to chase down leads, locate Dianna. He's focusing on the personal stakes.
But Vincent, the pragmatic celestial, he's all about institutional order.
Exactly. Vincent insists they need to focus on making sure the mortals are comfortable, arguing that chasing Dianna is a dead end. He sees only the damage, the growing power spikes, the public outcry. He views Dianna exclusively through the lens of a liability.
A liability that needs to be neutralized.
For the good of the 12 realms. He's putting the institution above the king's heart, which immediately sets up this major internal conflict within Samkiel's own government.
And that distinction, Logan prioritizing the person, Vincent prioritizing the order, that is going to be absolutely crucial as this war progresses and the betrayal really starts to unfold. This immediate chaos forces us then to look at the governing structure Samkiel is trying so desperately to protect. He's the king of gods, protector of 12 realms, but he is not an absolute ruler. His power is massive, but it's constrained.
That constraint, it comes from the Council of Hadramel. This is the supreme authority established by Samkiel's father, Unir. And it wasn't arbitrary. It was designed specifically to keep individual gods in line.
To stop any one entity from getting too powerful.
And prevent any single god control. This is a direct reference back to an ancient threat, the goddess Nismura.
Ah, so the council is essentially the historical check against the rise of another tyrannical singular power, like Nismura, who we know as the goddess of wrath.
Right.
This explains why they are so wary of Samkiel's own immense power, and certainly why they would fear Dianna, who is a literal creature of chaos.
It provides the context for Samkiel's constant stress. He is trying to lead a government that is fundamentally designed to limit him, and assisting him are the Celestials, known as the Hand.
Logan, Cameron, Xavier, Imogen, and Vincent.
The powerful warriors who are supposed to enforce order.
Let's focus on the internal relationships here for a second, particularly Logan, because he is Samkiel's anchor in all of this.
Logan is the closest confidant, truly a brother figure. Their bond is cemented by their history, specifically their shared experience surviving the fall of Rashiram.
Right.
That tragedy, which is so central to Samkiel's own guilt, it binds Logan to him irrevocably. Logan trusts Samkiel's heart, his intentions, implicitly. even when he's dealing with the chaotic fallout of Diana's transformation.
And then there's Vincent, who represents the rigid, almost unforgiving view of duty.
As we noted, yeah. He already sees Diana as nothing more than a rabid beast that must be put down. This traditional celestial mindset. It clashes violently with Samkiel's personal connection to Diana.
And this is exactly where Samkiel's profound internal conflict lies. I mean, he carries this moniker, the World Ender.
A burden he earned during the destruction of Rashirim, which he believes was his failure.
He desperately wants his legacy to be defined by his current mandate, to help people, to be a protector. The thought that he might have to put down the woman he loves, it forces him to confront his deepest fear.
That he's destined to fulfill that destructive nature.
So his desire to save Diana isn't just about love, it's about saving himself from becoming the monster he's afraid he is.
It absolutely is. His whole moral compass is tied to her survival. But here's the critical piece of lore that explains why he must save her, regardless of his title or his duty. The ultimate bond. The amata, or soul tie.
Okay, let's define this, because this concept of the amata seems absolutely key to understanding the sheer intensity of their connection.
It is. The physical manifestation of this bond is called the Mark of Disin. Both Samkiel and Logan, they frequently check the marks on their hands. Logan, in particular, he clings to his mark as proof that his own lost love, Nevera, might still be alive.
Because the mark hasn't faded.
It's a physical, magical tether between two souls.
But the amata is something deeper than the decent mark, isn't it? It's described as a primal, destined pairing.
It is the primal pairing. The higher one provides this devastating revelation. Diana is Samkiel's amata, the destined soul tie, a pairing engineered by chaos itself.
Chaos itself.
It suggests that for every creation, chaos ensures there is a counterbalancing ruination, and these two were created in tandem. This explains the extreme push-pull, the ravenous need, and the violent fighting they engage in.
So their powers are literally fighting against each other and for each other at the same time.
That's the synchronicity and the danger. The mark, the Disin, is actively trying to form and seal itself every single time they interact, which causes these intense, often aggressive reactions.
And their powers are synchronized magically.
Yes, the source material details how her fire doesn't burn him. His lightning power is described as being similar to her chaotic nature, confirming this ancient principle. Thunder is only heat expanded. Nature always makes you in pairs.
Their relationship is defined as the creation to her ruination.
They are destined to either balance or destroy each other.
So if they are destined and their powers are synchronized,
Yeah.
that means if one is compromised, the other is vulnerable.
Immeasurably so. This is where the true stakes lie. The death of an amata is not instant grief. It's described as a slow, painful death. You don't just die in a flash.
You die every day you wake up.
You become empty, a shell of what you were. Logan's constant void, believing he has lost Nevera, it serves as this dark preview of the catastrophic psychological cost if Samkiel fails to save Diana.
So the Council, by pressuring Samkiel to neutralize Diana, is unknowingly trying to destroy their king from the inside out.
That's it, exactly.
Which raises an important question for me. Why doesn't Samkiel just reveal the amata tie to the Council immediately? To explain why he can't simply put her down.
Well, the revelation itself is highly dangerous. I mean, first, it proves he is tied to chaos, which would confirm all of Vincent's and the Council's worst fears.
Right. He's compromised in their eyes.
And second, the mark is still trying to seal itself. It's not fully formed. Announcing it prematurely might invite Caden or other enemies to specifically target the bond before it's stable, knowing its destruction would neutralize Samkiel completely.
So he's protecting the secret as much as he's protecting her. This brings us directly to the War of Love itself, the high-stakes confrontation between these destined lovers after Diana's transformation. Her immediate strategy when they meet again is to sever that terrifying, powerful bond.
And she does it through psychological cruelty.
She attempts to push him away by claiming, "There is no us," reducing their entire relationship to a casual, meaningless fling.
She's weaponizing his past against him. She deliberately uses Samkiel's rumored history of casual lovers, claiming she needed to clear her head and that their connection was just fun. It's pure self-sabotage.
Designed to inflict maximum pain.
Maximum rejection. Hoping that if he hurts enough, he will leave her alone so she can execute her war of vengeance.
But Samkiel sees straight through the armor.
Yeah.
He recognizes the the visceral nature of her act.
He does. He notes that moment of rage fracturing for a second when his name is mentioned. That subconscious reaction that proves the true Dianna is still trapped inside the Ig'Morruthen shell.
He understands what she's doing.
He gets the function of her act. She is trying desperately to shove me away to prepare for war. Her war. She is preparing to sacrifice herself and the life they could have had.
His response, then, is to completely reject the role Caden has cast for him. Caden wants Samkiel to be the slayer of monsters and beasts.
And Samkiel refuses that identity. His resolve is just so deeply rooted in his love and that guilt over Rishurim. He vows, I will never let you continue down this destructive path.
He acknowledges the paradoxical nature of her hold on him, too. Even in this monstrous, crimson-eyed form, she still steals the very breath from my lungs.
His duty is fighting his destiny, but his love is overriding his duty.
Which leads to these incredibly tense confrontations, where we see Diana's core grief manifest as direct blame.
She does not hold back. She pins Gabby's death squarely on him. Caden killed her because of you, because of me. I was stupid to think I could have even a semblance of normalcy in my life.
She believes their relationship made her vulnerable.
Yes. She thought she could rely on a beautiful stranger, and that one decision cost her sister's life. This sense of personal failure is what fuels her need for self-reliance and vengeance.
And this leads to the power battle, where she shows him exactly how terrifying her new strength is. It starts as a fight, but it functions almost as a twisted training session.
Yeah, and we get a brief but crucial reference here to their past, Samkiel having trained her in Zaral. This past training makes her a lethal opponent now.
He knows what she's capable of.
And he notes she moved like me, utilizing techniques he taught her, but she was definitely stronger and meaner. This confirms the Ig'Morruthen transformation didn't just add raw power, it honed her existing martial skill and her ruthlessness.
She's become his equal, or maybe even his superior in raw, chaotic force.
It's a real question. And she continues to test him psychologically, too, forcing him to confront his own possessiveness.
Right, the jealousy test. This is brilliant psychological warfare on her part.
It is. She aggressively flirts with him in front of others, mortals, members of the council, while he is desperately trying to maintain his kingly face. She mentions otherworld men, and he notes the telltale sign. The vein pops in his neck.
And she uses this to point out that Caden, through this whole spectacle of her descent, has put her on display.
Forcing Samkiel to publicly deny their bond to maintain order, a denial that costs him dearly.
So she's forcing him to choose between the political stability of his realms and his own emotional stability. And when that verbal confrontation fails, Samkiel employs his most intimate and calculated strategy.
The strategic kiss.
This is a moment of just profound narrative significance. Samkiel realizes he cannot pierce her rage with words. He needs to physically stop her destruction and start the healing process.
So he delivers a customized sleeping spell engineered by Camilla through a kiss.
Let's elaborate on the technical nuance here, because this is where the genius of the move and the bond really lies.
The spell was engineered with one crucial failsafe. It could only be activated by saliva.
Okay.
Samkiel himself confirms the implication of this. Dianna had to kiss me back for it to work. This is not just a strategic immobilization, it is a forced moment of truth.
Why is that one detail so essential to the narrative and their Amada bond?
Because it removes the possibility of coercion, of external control. If he had forced the kiss, the spell would have failed and the betrayal would have been complete. The fact that the core Dianna, the part buried deep beneath the Ig'Morruthen chaos, still responded.
Still desired him enough to reciprocate.
It proves that her self-imposed destructive path was a lie. The Amada bond, seeking to seal itself, won that microsecond battle.
So the kiss serves multiple functions. It immobilizes the immediate threat, it initiates her mental healing process while she's detained, and most importantly, it acts as the final binding confirmation of their soul tie.
A confirmation which required her participation, however unconscious.
It's the highest expression of faith and calculated risk.
It is. Samkiel risked everything on the hope that the woman he loved still existed beneath the monster she had become. The betrayal he risked was worth the confirmation that their bond was still alive.
So while Samkiel is navigating this personal catastrophe, detaining his soulmate, facing the council's rising fear, the true enemy, Caden, has been executing his master plan in the shadows.
And this is where the narrative just drops the ultimate bomb about Caden's identity.
The paternity shock.
The revelation of the antagonist's paternity fundamentally changes the entire conflict. Caden is not just some powerful political foe. The higher one reveals that he is Samkiel's half-brother, the flesh-born son of Unir, Samkiel's father, and a former general and lover of Unir. This transforms the War of Broken Gods from a political struggle into a brutal familial rivalry over their father's legacy and control of the realms.
This twist has massive retroactive implications for the entire history of this universe, especially regarding the fall of Reshiram, the very event that earned Samkiel the title, the World Ender.
Absolutely. Samkiel has always believed that the primordials caused Reshiram's fall, but Unir, his father, lied. We learn that Unir actually locked the primordials away not because they were the threat,
But because they recognize Caden.
because they recognized Caden's raw, chaotic power and potential. The lie about the primordials was created to hide Caden, that which you loved so much.
So Samkiel has carried the guilt of destroying Reshiram, cementing this identity as the World Ender, when in reality the seed of that destruction was his own hidden half-brother.
That is the depth of the betrayal. It also explains Caden's intimate knowledge of Samkiel's history, of the Hand, of the vulnerabilities of the current regime. They share the same lineage, the same power signature.
Caden isn't just seeking power, he wants to shatter the legacy Samkiel inherited.
And his master plan is total cataclysm, fracturing the realms and opening them to pure external chaos.
And his plan is, it's ritualistic, it's specific.
Very specific. We know 2 ingredients are critical: iron, and most importantly, the death of Samkiel. The source material states that the realms only open when Samkiel dies. So, Caden needs a way to destabilize the realms sufficiently to accomplish this, and he needs an army.
He cannot turn mortals into the same powerful creatures as Dianna the Ig'Morruthen, correct. They become something lesser.
That's a crucial distinction, yes. Mortals corrupted by Caden become Urvikuva mere beasts controlled by people like Tobias. Caden needs powerful, skilled agents to undermine Samkiel's defenses, which is why he focuses on corrupting Celestials.
And his method of corruption is particularly insidious. He exploits desperate Celestials who possess selfish greed. He's using emotion as a magic ingredient.
It's weaponized emotional vulnerability, and we see this play out in the horrifying sequence involving Samkiel's own trusted circle, the Hand. Caden's first move is to demonstrate absolute control over Xavier, one of the Hand, by commanding him to take out a blade and slit your throat while they're in a public place.
That's a brutal display of psychological warfare. It forces a public reaction from Xavier's partner, Cameron.
Exactly. Cameron is forced to intervene violently to save Xavier. Caden's attack isn't meant to kill Xavier, it's meant to expose and exploit Cameron's selfish greed, his desperate possessive love for Xavier. This fear of loss becomes the leverage.
But wait, if Cameron's motivation is saving the person he loves, is that truly selfish greed? Or is Caden just exploiting profound devotion and reframing it as a weakness?
That is the central ethical dilemma Caden creates, and it's why his magic works so effectively. For Caden, any emotion that prioritizes one person over the stability of the entire realm is selfish. Cameron's love for Xavier is so absolute that he is willing to violate the core tenets of celestial order and ultimately violate his loyalty to the king to protect his partner.
And the ultimate betrayal comes when Cameron agrees to be turned into one of Caden's corrupted agents. He does it to save Xavier. He sacrifices his own moral standing.
Caden successfully weaponizes that deep, protective love. He confirms to Cameron that this fierce devotion, this singular focus on one person's survival, is precisely the selfish greed his dark magic requires to work. It completely fractures the king's internal command structure.
By turning the strongest bonds of love into the deepest sources of weakness.
And the climax of Caden's immediate plan is devastating. He uses a spear coated in Samkiel's blood, the critical ingredient gained from a prior scuffle, to literally split the realm of Yejidin.
The physical cost of the conflict is now manifesting in reality. A massive, terrifying rift tears open in the realm.
This is not just theoretical chaos anymore. This is the world breaking.
And here's the reveal that elevates the threat beyond Caden's personal vendetta. From the rift emerges the ancient threat, Nismera.
Nismera, the old goddess who embodies wrath. She has been freed. She appears in thick armor, wielding a bloody sword, confirming her warrior nature. This instantly overshadows Caden.
Caden's role was to be the locksmith.
He was the locksmith and the catalyst. Nismera is the true ancient power Samkiel and his allies must now face.
And her greeting to Samkiel is pure, chilling history. Hello, World Ender, I have missed you. This confirms she views Samkiel not as a king, but as the source of her original defeat and containment.
The stakes have just escalated exponentially. Nismara represents pure, focused ancient rage, untainted by the complex manipulations of love and grief that Caden specialized in. She's arrived at the exact moment Caden ensured the realms were fractured, and Samkiel's most trusted defenses, both the Celestials and his Amata, are compromised.
It is the perfect storm of external and internal destruction. With Nismara unleashed and Caden temporarily retreating, we turn back to Dianna, who is now incapacitated under that sleeping spell. Her capture allows for the war outside to rage, but it forces this essential internal journey she needs to undergo.
And Samkiel is simultaneously facing his own breaking point.
He's suffering from profound exhaustion,
Yeah.
despair. He has just dealt with the emotional rejection from Dianna, the realization that his brother is the villain, and the betrayal of his friend Cameron.
He confesses to Logan that he is simply tired, that his life has become too much of a burden to carry alone.
The emotional cost of being the king is finally taking its toll. He admits that he feels he has failed everyone, Caden, Dianna, his realms, and he confesses his non-negotiable line to Logan.
The line is just heartbreakingly clear. If Dianna dies, I quit. I'm done. This isn't just grief. This is a king saying he is willing to abdicate his destiny and his duty if the core of his hope, his love, is extinguished.
And Logan tries to convince him otherwise.
He does. He argues that he's the best king because he carries this burden, because he strives to help people despite his flaws. But Samkiel is on the brink.
Meanwhile, Dianna is forced to confront the source of her destructive rage through an internal journey, the dream house. She returns to the memory of the first home she shared with Gabby, but finds it derelict.
Mirroring the state of her current soul.
Exactly. And the derelict state of the house is crucial symbolism. It reflects how her grief has decayed her memories and her self-perception. She's haunted by Gabby's voice, who acts as her guide, forcing her to confront her greatest fears.
And the focal point of this internal landscape is the locked door.
Right. Gabby's spirit forces her toward this locked door, which is heavily fortified with locks and chains. It symbolizes her self-containment, her refusal to acknowledge the truth of her power, and her guilt.
When she finally rips the metal constraints free, the door doesn't reveal a monster or a victim. It opens into a library, an archive.
A library. What does that symbolize in this context?
It symbolizes buried knowledge, suppressed truth, and her true, expansive power. The Ig'Morruthen is not just brute force. It is the archive of chaotic knowledge and latent strength she has been suppressing.
Believing it led to Gabby's death.
The chains weren't holding the monster in. They were holding her complexity and capacity for purpose out.
And inside this archive, she confronts her core guilt, which is tied directly to Samkiel.
She confesses her worst fear, that by choosing Samkiel and the possibility of a peaceful future, she betrayed Gabby. She says she let you die because I am selfish and cruel. And then she adds the devastating admission that she was so tired of being used and running that for a split second I wanted it to be over.
She believes that momentary choice for self-preservation and happiness over eternal vigilance made her complicit in Gabby's death.
But this admission, this is what leads to her forgiveness and her redemption arc. Gabby rejects the blame completely.
She confirms Dianna had every right to be happy.
And that her crushing feelings are just grief, not selfishness. This moment of true absolution is the key to Dianna's healing. And Gabby gives her the final, powerful mandate. If you are going to be a monster, at least be a damn good one.
This allows Dianna to embrace the entirety of her Ig'Morruthen power, not as a tool of vengeance and chaos, but as a weapon of purpose and protection.
And with her power and self-acceptance returning, her mission shifts immediately. It is no longer about vengeance for the past. It is about protection for the future.
We see this transformation in action almost immediately. She awakens and joins Logan and Ever in this terrifying cavern, fight against Caden's growing Urvakuva army.
She's no longer fighting against Samkiel's allies. She is fighting for them. Her focus is singular, ensuring her loved ones survive the war Caden started.
And this leads to the full, conscious solidification of her bond with Samkiel, who is still reeling from the betrayal and the knowledge of the Amata tie.
During their intimate reconciliation, Samkiel definitively clarifies his devotion. Despite knowing the primal, destined nature of the Amata tie, he states, I'd still choose you. It will always be you, Dianna.
He tells her she is better than any destiny.
This isn't just love. It's a profound choice to prioritize their relationship above fate itself. And Dianna accepts this truth, acknowledging, destiny be damned. She's finally prioritizing their bond over the chaotic impulse of vengeance.
But just as they reach this point of mutual acceptance and strength, the final high-stakes betrayal occurs. and not from Caden.
No, from within Samkiel's own court.
The council, led by figures like Ileana, has judged Samkiel to be too unstable, too much of a risk because of his connection to Dianna, the creature of chaos.
Dianna finds Samkiel grievously wounded and chained. He's been drained of power and color, mirroring the pale, bruised state of the man in her nightmare.
The council effectively neutralized their own king, fearing that the king's love for chaos would endanger the realms more than the chaos itself.
He is cold, pale, and defenseless. And Diana's reaction is immediate and definitive. She doesn't seek confrontation or vengeance against the council. She portaled him away instantly to hide him and ensure his healing.
She is now standing alone, prepared to face Nismara and the entire war herself.
Her final vow to Rockhuram, it just encapsulates her complete transformation from vengeful monster to absolute protector. I fear no gods and no kings, don't tell him.
She is taking the massive burden of this realm-shattering war entirely onto her shoulders to save the man who saved her soul.
The king of gods has fallen, chained by his own court. And the creature of chaos he saved is now acting as the protector of the realms and the soul keeper of his life.
That is the ultimate inversion of roles, and it sets the stage for the next phase of this colossal conflict. Hashtag tag outro. Wow. Okay, let's just take a moment to review the essential discoveries we pull from this material. We want to make sure you have the sharpest takeaways for this incredibly dense narrative.
Okay, first, we redefined the Amata bond. It's not just destiny. It's a soul tie, the mark of Disin, that synchronizes their powers and, critically, creates an agonizing, slow psychological vacuum upon separation. A terrifying vulnerability for Samkiel.
Second, the ultimate antagonist plot twist. Caden is Samkiel's half-brother, the flesh-born son of Unir. This paternity shock transforms a global war into a deeply intimate familial conflict rooted in a historical lie about the fall of Rosh'Iram that Samkiel has carried as guilt for centuries.
Third, we detailed the complex pathology of the Ig'Morruthen transformation. We now understand it's driven by the chaotic consumption of power. Overindulgence snuffs out the kind mortal part, which explains Diana's initial destructive behavior.
Which was then overcome by her self-acceptance in the Dreamhouse archives.
Exactly.
And perhaps the most dangerous strategic element we uncovered was Caden's method of corruption. He compromised the entire celestial command structure by weaponizing profound emotion. His magic relies on selfish greed.
And he used Cameron's desperate, protective love for Xavier and Diana's overwhelming, self-blaming grief for Gabby to fracture Samkiel's inner circle and his soulmate. Caden proved that the deepest personal connections, the strongest bonds of love and loyalty, are the King of God's greatest vulnerability.
So, as Samkiel recovers, weakened and chained, and Diana prepares to fight a war she never intended to start, a war of protection, not vengeance, we have to confront the true emerging threat that Caden unlocked.
Indeed. The ancient goddess Nismara has emerged from the rift, and she is defined not by complex manipulation or chaotic desire, but as the pure, primal embodiment of wrath itself. Caden's strategy manipulated the complicated, mixed pain of love and grief to destabilize the King of Gods.
Which raises an important question for you, the learner, to consider as we close this deep dive.
What happens when pure, focused power like ancient wrath is unleashed on a world already grieving, scarred, and fundamentally fractured? What is the countermeasure to pure, unyielding rage when the King of Order is powerless? That is the battle that now defines the War of Broken Gods.